Welcome to another episode of Chats with Chantla.
Welcome everybody to another episode of Chats with Chantla. I'm here with the amazing Jordan Pratt. He is going to tell us so much about his multiple paths and career in entrepreneurship and also as a young professional. So if you're just now joining, this is going to be an episode that you're going to want to replay, share, and like.
Go.
So how are you doing today, Jordan?
I'm feeling good. It's good. We finally got a sunny day outside, so that helps me and it gives me energy for the day for the interview. So I'm excited. I'm excited to share a lot of things with the people.
And you know what? I'm so excited. Nobody else is. I really am, because a lot of the nuggets that you shared with me earlier, I would tell people to bring a pen and paper so that they can take some notes and glean from all the information that you're going to give us. So a lot of us already know Jordan, but we know Jordan on, I would say, like one playing field or one scale, and that's him being an athlete and a local athlete and a very good athlete at that. But he was also a great scholar as well in school. But I just want to show and give an opportunity for him to share his journey and what he's doing now, and it's going to blow your socks off. But Jordan, I just want to give you a moment just to kind of like introduce yourself to those who do know you, so you can reintroduce yourself, and those who don't know you.
Absolutely. Like Chantla said, a lot of people know me from Uniontown basketball, the Red Raiders, and shout out to them. They did an incredible job this year.
Yeah.
So yeah, you guys know me as the scorer, the dual threat guard at Red Raiders. But now I'm actually a full-time entrepreneur. I run a moving company called Fast and Efficient Services. We also do cleaning services, but also a networking group for young professionals and entrepreneurs called Bridge City Connections. So that's two of the good things that I'm doing right now, and I'm excited to share more with that.
Absolutely. So you can see by his title underneath his name is a full-time entrepreneur and networker. Networking, we're going to get into how important that is a little bit later. But if you're joining and you have questions that you want to ask Jordan, please put it in the comments and I'll bring it up on the screen and ask on your behalf. But you'll want to really get into what's going on in his life, how he got there, and how he's maintaining it. So Jordan,
Absolutely.
why have you chosen the career path that you have taken?
Yeah, so the moving company thing, it started as a necessity, putting myself through school, and shout out to a family member, Dwayne. A lot of people may know him as Huggy, but he helped me with that. He had his business, and I came on with him, and it really just stuck with me. After I graduated college, I moved to Pittsburgh, and I saw that there was the perfect market to start my own moving company. So that's exactly what I did.
And how has that transition from, high school to college to now being a business owner? Like you did have the support of family and friends, but how was that transition for you? Because that's a lot to do back to back without like any kind of break.
Yeah, so the transition for after playing basketball my whole life, wasn't anything else. For everyone who knows me, is me, Booty, DeAndre, Joe Campbell, and Lyric, and those guys, and we're running around hooping, So after I'm done hooping with these guys, it almost can be a negative cloud because you don't know what to do. But it's good that I had someone like Huggy that was able to guide me, show me different side of things, and then in the moving industry, in which I took after me going through college, Carlo and Penn State. I was like, yeah, I can do something with this.
Wonderful. I love that you didn't get caught up in just one aspect of life, because a lot of times we just don't go any further than what we did in high school, but that transition was great. So we do have some people that are watching. I just want to give a shout out to May Alaquiva, how busy you are, and for you to be able to just tap in. I really appreciate that, fam.
For sure.
So,
Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for tuning in.
Absolutely. If anyone has any questions for Jordan, please feel free to put it in the comments and we'll be able to bring it up on screen. So get engaged, get active with this conversation. So this is a beautiful collaboration, but it's with everybody. So I want to continue just asking Jordan a lot about what he's doing. And my next question for you, Jordan, is how did you come up with the concept or the idea for Bridge City Connections?
So with that business, it's a little unique. or not very unique, but where we come from in Uniontown, there's not many people who want to take up entrepreneurship or are vocal about that and
Mhm.
seek those opportunities, right? So I was left with being on my own a lot of the times, thinking of ideas, creating businesses, to where it left me in kind of a dark spot, to where I'm like, I need like-minded people, like-minded individuals who want to chase to certain things, who we can help collaborate, who can help build together. So I started hosting little meetups, to be honest, and those meetups started to grow from 5 to 10 people. Now we're at 40, our last event.
Wow.
So
Wow. Did you just say 40 people?
40 people, yeah.
Wow. And so it came out of a need, and then you started networking, and now you're connecting with 40 or more people because it's continuing to grow.
Absolutely.
How, like, what, okay, so how did you scale that to get that, to where it's at? Because it doesn't seem like it happened overnight, and it may have happened a lot quicker or a lot, a slower pace. But how did you scale that so quickly?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think what it comes down to is believing in your product and your service. So I believe that I need a network. I need individuals who want to collaborate and build together,
Mhm.
because in my eyes, that is how we get truly successful and separate ourselves. The big corporations are working together. The big
Yeah.
people, they have their network who they collaborate and keep the money flowing within their systems. So that's I really just am vocal with that.
Mhm.
Everywhere I go, I empower people to think that same exact way.
Right.
And if I see that you are thinking that way, or if I, even get you thinking in that direction, I invite you to our events. That
Wow.
way, you're able to see, what we're building.
And then, so give me a little bit of like what happens at those events, because I know they're networking and they're connecting. And it's
Mhm.
kind of like what I like to tell people, I'm like a Lego. So I'm a piece that connects to another piece that kind of creates a bridge. So what you're
Yeah.
doing at these Bridge City connections, like if somebody didn't understand what it was, like what should they expect if they wanted to come to one?
Good question. So your normal networking groups, right? You could show up and it's just a room of people, and you're just meant to talk to someone.
Right.
Just throw yourself into the sea, into the ocean, and just talking and networking. That can be a little intimidating for a lot of newer networkers or younger professionals, with less experience. Me myself, I put myself in these rooms and already went through that, at
Mhm.
uncomfortable positions. So I understand how that is. So I kind of doing it a different way. We are networking, but we're also more of a intimate networking group where we do icebreakers. We
Mhm.
make a circle around the table,
Yeah.
and we let people get vulnerable, tell us what they do if they're not already successful, what they
Mhm.
want to achieve. That way, then after we're done with that, we can go back to networking and
Mhm.
talk more about it, and then help you collaborate.
I love that because it's not just networking, it's a support system as well. So
Hmm.
you can come and you can network and you can pass out business cards, you can get information, and that's all that you get from it. But the other aspect of it that elevates it is that you become a support system to each other, and then that connection keeps growing, and then the word of mouth, you have that
Exactly.
conversation, and it brings more people. So I can see how it scaled so quickly, and I think that's amazing. And as a young professional, I love what you're doing because you are young. I could be your mom. I'm old enough to be your mom. I have a son that's the same age as you.
Heck
And
yeah.
I love that the fact that you're doing this. And when I think about a young professional, I kind of see you as like a pioneer, or a leader in that aspect,
I
because
appreciate that.
there's not a lot of people that I know that are your age that are doing what you're doing. And how do you feel about that? Do you feel like you're a pioneer amongst young professionals?
I always like to think of myself as a leader, just from coming from those basketball roles of leading a team. Um, so that that mission and like that drive
Mhm.
is still with me today. Whether whether it's helping with the moving team or helping guide younger entrepreneurs in a certain direction, I always try to empower people. So I
Right.
think that leadership is instilled into me, not just from me, but God. I like to say it's like a mission that,
Absolutely.
that I'm on. So yeah, that's definitely a God given mission for me. Something I
Wonderful.
take to the heart.
I love that. I understand the importance of having a faith, and I agree with that 100%. But I love how you just said that basketball helped you in the role that you're doing right now. And let me just let you know, Jordan is a full-time entrepreneur, not of one, not of two, but three businesses. So I didn't even hit on the third one, but I will. So how do you feel like that leadership in basketball actually gave you the confidence or the courage to become a leader in business at such a young age? Do you feel like that played a part?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, you know, with me, I'm known for attacking, attacking
Mhm.
the hoop, wanting to win the game. People know me. I almost to a fault, to where I'm a sore loser at times. So with that basketball drive, I think it definitely transitioned into the entrepreneur world, because it's still a competition, right?
Mhm.
Although I like to think of it as collaboration, but the world thinks of it as a competition.
Right.
So you have to be able to, withstand those people that may come at us at a certain way, or just competitors who may want to take us out of the game as in a whole. You
Mhm.
have to have a leadership to be able to empower the team and be able to empower like myself in a way to keep going. So
Absolutely. And Ty just wanted to shout you out. She said, "Go ahead, cuz."
what
So
up, Ty?
thank
What's
you so
up,
much for
Tyler?
watching,
Appreciate you.
Ty. She's
Heck
such
yeah.
an encourager.
Heck yeah.
But I love that, and I agree because I've seen you play basketball. I've seen you grow from a young boy to the man you are today, and I think that it's amazing how like a lot of the choices that we make as a young person really do impact us positively or negatively as we become adults and go through finding our identities in the world. So as I
Yeah.
spoke, you spoke about two of the career paths that you do. You do have a third one, and I want to introduce this with a question. But the question is, what specialties or interests took you into the career of real estate investing?
Yeah. So real estate investment, I think everyone should get into. Real estate is key to financial success. But I think as a young kid, it all ties back into sports again. Shout out
Mhm.
to Mr. Campbell. Um, I saw that the way he was leading his family, with buying real estate, owning a business, and
Right,
these directions literally instilled, or he may have not known it,
right.
and my parents may have not known it, people around me, but I always kept my eye on people who were in better situations than I
Mhm.
was that I was. Um, so so that today literally is still in my brain, and I love to shout him out, Mr. Campbell, because he was that role model who took us around and showed us a better life. He always is that role model. So that's what led me into the real estate direction.
Absolutely. And I think the other thing that for me, and I think you mentioned it when we talked earlier, is that a lot of what you wanted and what pushes you forward is that you don't want to live paycheck to paycheck.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
go ahead.
Paycheck to paycheck. A lot of people that may be watching this, a lot of the people that, from the Uniontown area, we don't have many opportunities to make good money, right? So that always was in the bottom of my heart, right? So me moving forward, going through college, there was kind of friction between me and college, because I'm
Mhm.
like, yeah, I'm going to be graduating college, but to work something that I'm wasting a lot of hours and not getting as much pay as I would want, you
Mhm.
know. Um, so that being in the back of my head, that's what led me to the entrepreneur side, and realizing, okay, Mr. Campbell, he's doing it a different way. He has this company, but also is buying property to be able to live freely,
Yeah.
and almost he took us to a lot of tournaments, this and that. So there's a lot of time when it comes to being free as well. It's not just
Mhm.
about the money. You have to be free of your time
Right.
so that you can maximize, that little bit amount of time with a
Mhm.
lot of money. So
Absolutely. And I
yeah.
love that you say that because what it also makes me think of is what we both spoke about when we were sharing is that always having a mindset to be financially free, but you just added on being financially free also gives you what you just said, that freedom. And a lot of times when you are connected, and nothing negative or to throw shade to 9 to 5, because I work a 9 to 5, is you are literally pigeonholed into one specific time frame that you can work Monday through Friday. Normally, is a
Mm-hmm.
traditional work week, 9 to 5, and you have to work that because that's how you pay your bills,
That's how you
and
live.
please
Yes.
know that. But to be able to be an entrepreneur or do, like you said, someone you looked up to, Mr. Campbell, he was doing so many different paths that he was having multiple streams of income coming in that was
Absolutely.
allowing him not to only to be financially free, but also to be free to do what he wants in his own time. And I think that that is a huge difference in what you do when you work for yourself versus when you work for somebody else, because you're
Absolutely.
to their rules and expectations, and you're not always happy when
Yeah.
you're doing
No,
that.
no, entrepreneurship isn't for everyone. I want
Mhm.
to make that very clear. If you think that working a job is hard, entrepreneurship is harder.
Yeah.
You have to work extra to hours. It's not that, you know, I'm not saying that I don't work a lot of hours. I would say a lot of overtime hours.
Hmm.
But when it comes to freedom, to you making the choice of if you want to go to a basketball game or travel here or, visit your family rather than do that job, you have that option.
Hmm.
And I think that's very important to me. And a lot of people, they just haven't had the opportunity yet.
Yeah. And sometimes they need to hear conversations like we're having to have that. And like you said, the support, encouragement, and kind of
Hmm.
guide on how they could do it. So if you're just now joining in, I'm Chantla and I am the host of Chats with Chantla. And I have Jordan Pratt, who is a full time entrepreneur
What's
of
going on, guys?
multiple businesses and a networker. So if you haven't learned anything yet, stay tuned. You're going to learn so much more. And if you are just joining in, make sure you hit that replay button to see what you've missed. If you have a comment that you or a question that you want to ask Jordan, please put it in the comment section and I'll bring it up on the screen. That's how you
Yeah.
can get involved and also become a part of this collaboration. So, Jordan, how do you determine what clients and customers you will serve in any of the career paths that you take, like serve and work with?
Yeah, good question. And let me break this down between businesses. We'll start with the service, fast and efficient services. When it comes to that, you know, a lot of people, um, a lot of people will try to undervalue your services. A lot of
Hmm.
people will try to sell you short, um, and I understand that. They may be on a budget. They may be on, you know, have, a certain situation where they're not able to afford that certain service. But we like to value ourselves. That's one thing. We value our service. We value what we offer to our clients. We do exceed expectations. So when it comes to choosing clients, we just like to work with people who don't like to take advantage. It's simple. We don't we appreciate those people who seeing the service that we're doing
Hmm.
and are willing to pay for it. Um, and that's not everyone, and that's okay. Um, that's just a little bit about that. And then as far as the Bridge City Connection side, it's more people who want it.
Hmm.
If you're a networker, if you're an entrepreneur, young entrepreneur, a young professional, if you're empowered, if you feel motivated, if you're excited about getting up and going after the next opportunity, that's who we want in the rooms with us. Because that's how I am, and I love to surround myself with similar people.
Hmm.
So
What about the real estate? How do you deal?
yeah, so the real estate I actually have a team right now, um, and I do want to shout out them. They're working on this project called Dealmate. It's a new real estate platform um, that I can't tell you much about right now because it is still in the works.
Okay.
They'll actually be telling everyone more about that coming soon. So yeah, we are excited about that. It is a small team of young Black entrepreneurs. I love that. I do want to highlight that this team is all Black, and it's awesome to me that
Right.
we have that representation. So
Absolutely. Representation matters. We spoke about this
yeah,
before because it's very difficult to not see yourself somewhere and then be expected to excel. Not that people can't be the first, but it's always
absolutely.
good to have representation. And there are a lot of people like yourself who are doing great things that now, I can look up to, other people can look up to and be inspired and feel like, okay, I can, grow as well. So I really appreciate that because it definitely, definitely does. And Ty said, love to see
Yeah.
it. So she's
Heck yeah,
looking
because
forward
I
to
mean,
that
where we
platform.
come from, Uniontown, PA, there's not many role models that are are a representation, are black.
Mhm.
So that is very important to me. That's something I hold dearly to my heart, to be able to empower our people, with opportunities, because we're not used to getting those.
Right.
We're not used to being in a room with, truly wealthy people.
Hmm.
But we do deserve those opportunities, especially the
Absolutely.
ones that are willing to go out and work for it and have the knowledge and put themselves out there to get it. So
Absolutely.
I do, it's big for me.
And I know that we spoke about this, but Destiny, thank you so much for this comment. She said it's not always what you know, it's who you know. That
That's right,
is
Destiny.
a
That's right.
million times facts. That's,
Heck yeah.
that is so critical. And Jordan, we
Yeah.
spoke about the importance of who you know, because
Yeah.
that will get you in rooms. And even if you can't physically be in a room, there have been many times that, people have told me your name was, people were talking about you. And I'm like, who? So it's not, you need to have certain people in a space that you may not be because they're speaking about, your talent, your skill set. Or like
Hmm.
she said, it's not all about what you know, it's about who you know. And I don't know if that's helped you, but that's definitely helped me.
Oh, it helps me. It helped me tremendously. As far as just making it out of Uniontown a little bit, going to Pittsburgh.
Hmm.
Um, Me meeting college friends at Carlo to be able to stay on their couch for a week until I get on my feet.
Right.
So that's very important. And I'm seeing that more now in the entrepreneur world. As you build as you build your network, and you start to place people in your life with intent. And what I do want to encourage people to place people in our life with intent, because everyone's not meant to be in our lives, at certain points, because
Hmm.
one, they can hinder us, or one, they can help us.
Right.
And I'm on a journey right now with folks that can help benefit. And that may sound crazy, but it's also you providing them with value. It's not, you shouldn't ever be a person who's just taking, right? We always have to be
Hmm.
a person of value. What can you offer? How are you keeping up with your studies? That way you can, say the right thing or present an opportunity to someone, and then they do it back. So
Right.
that's super important, Destiny. I'm glad you know that. I'm glad you're seeing that. For real. Come to our event this Thursday, 6 to 9, up here at Cohatch in Pittsburgh. I'll send you the invite personally.
Oh my gosh. I know I want the invite, so I can make sure that I come. But Destiny, thank
Yeah,
you for that comment. I think that that was something that we may have like forgot to speak about, but I think you said it. Your network determines your net worth. I think that's how you
exactly.
said it. And I
Exactly.
agree with that. And it's, a lot of people may be like, oh, that's not true. Okay, well then figure it out. Like look at who you're surrounded with, and by who you engage with on an everyday basis. Are they elevating you? Are they adding to you? Or are they subtracting? Like I don't think that is difficult. If the do the math, and if it's not
Mhm.
math, then you might need to go back to the the table and find
Yeah, and
out.
we should touch on this a little more, because I think this is a spot that a lot of people are at.
Yeah.
It's, how do you let go of people? What do you do when those friends or those family members aren't, um, leading you in the right direction, or in the same energy as you, when it
Hmm.
comes to wanting to progress, right?
Right.
Um, and that's one of the biggest and hardest things that we can do as people who, love our people, right?
Hmm.
But I say this from the bottom of my heart, that you got to let people go, and not just as, letting them go and never talking to them again. That's not what I mean. I mean that you have to go your direction and save that energy and put that towards your goals and your visions, then circle back and be able to reconnect with those people.
Hmm.
Because if they're truly your people, they'll always be there in the end.
Right.
They're never going to go away completely, right? So that's how I look at it, and I like to encourage everyone who's watching this to really keep that same mindset, because if not, that can really hinder you for a lifetime.
Absolutely. And, I love that. I think that's amazing advice, that you can use personally and professionally. And it makes me, think about asking you the question of, how do you know who to go into business with? Because you kind of touch
Yeah.
base on it, but how do you really know? who to go to into business with?
Good question. I don't have much experience with as far as partnerships within a business, because I am a sole owner within my first two businesses. Um, but what I do look in within collaboration realm, when it comes to who may bring on the team or who may help us get to the next level in a certain aspect of the business. I like to go with people who are like me. And one thing I'm passionate about my work. Um, I'm driven, motivated, and I'm innovative. So those who are that, if you're obsessed almost over your work or your thing,
Mm-hmm.
I want to work with you, right?
Right.
Because I don't. One thing I've learned as starting out, I would employ a lot of friends, um, and that would almost hinder me in a way because they don't
Mm-hmm.
have that same drive as far as caring about the product or the service, right? They
Right.
don't. They can't see past maybe that certain position that they're at. So it comes down to being. Can you want more? Can you give the same energy?
Mm-hmm.
That's it. And that's who I want to work with. That's who I've been surrounding myself with. Um, and sometimes it's hard to find that locally. It's I had to go to LA to find it.
Right.
So sometimes the first couple of people who I met, and then as you start to change your mindset and you start to be more aware of certain characteristics, it becomes easier to be able to navigate. Oh, this person isn't for me. That
Mm-hmm.
person isn't for me. Let me just go ahead and separate myself. Let me not go to that party. Let me not go out with them
Right.
or let me erase myself from a group chat completely
Mm-hmm.
because this energy is in the direction that I want to put my energy towards. So that's a little bit about that.
Yeah, I agree. And Ty said something, and I think it's super important. And she said, that right now this conversation is so informative. She said,
Appreciate you,
Jordan, you have
cousin.
a great
For
mind,
real.
that this is great content, and
Appreciate you.
that being a business owner and, really resonates with her because the conversation that we're having is just something that is very relatable to her. Because, I know that
Heck
Ty
yeah.
is a registered nurse, but she also does a lot of her own entrepreneurship, and thank you so much for collaborating with me, Jordan. The platform is the bomb, but thank you so much, Ty,
Heck
for the
yeah. This is
encouragement.
awesome.
But I just really think that what you're saying is so empowering. And Tiana said, "Yes, brother." So you have a
Yes,
lot of
sir. What's up, sis?
support that is watching. And I thank everyone that's watching, and I really appreciate the engagement because it does help us lead the conversation in the way that you all as the audience wants to see. But Jordan, I
Mhm.
know a lot of stuff came from being exposed to certain people, playing certain sports, as you stated, basketball, being exposed to other people outside of just your immediate family, but also
Mhm.
your friends, parents, and things like that. You mentioned Mr. Campbell, but also I know that other things motivate me through reading and things that I listen to. What type of things do you do that keep you on the right track, keep you motivated? Do you read? Do you listen to other platforms or podcasts? What do you do? Like what?
Yeah, good question. I mean, so for that, everyone has to have a why. I want to start with, right?
Mhm.
So, why are you living, to be honest? Why are you driven to want to achieve these things? Why do you need the roof over your head? Why do you want to be an entrepreneur? And for me, I want to start with that's my family, right? So that's my biggest motivation. So everything I do is driven right now towards progressiveness. So that goes when erasing rap music. I've not been listening to much rap music in general. I much rather listen to Myron Golden,
Mhm.
um, who is a super intelligent entrepreneur, successful entrepreneur. He's also black, and he brings it back to Bible principles, which is awesome to me. So I listen to him pretty much all day, or I'll listen to other podcasts like My First Million, which I get inspiration from. The All In podcast, I get inspiration from. Um, and it's more so audio for me, not
Mhm.
many books. But I did read, when I first started an entrepreneur, I like to tell people about this book. It's called The 4 Hour Work Week.
Mhm.
It was by Tim Ferriss. And this book really got me into the mindset of being able to maximize my time um, with the maximize profits, you
Mm-hmm.
know. So how can I get in 4 hours, how can I get way more money than I would anywhere else?
Right.
Right. So that book right there will help put that in that mindset. That's where it started.
Well, I love that because I'm not a big audio person, but I think what you just shared with me, it makes me want to, try that and see the different things that I can find. Because I'll pick up a book and I will have a book and read like a book a week. But I
Yeah.
definitely like learning and seeing the different things that successful entrepreneurs and just successful people, it doesn't just have to be business, but successful people in life and how they're maintaining that. So thank you for those recommendations. But I
Thank you.
also want to ask you another question. And that other question is, we talked about go fast and but I was going to say effective, efficient,
Go fast, efficient.
efficient,
Yeah.
yes.
That's
Um,
right.
moving and cleaning services. But when we talked previously, that is a moving service, and we know all, kind of have an understanding what that is in a cleaning service. But you shared some tips on how people can budget and save money when working with you, because there are different levels and budgets that you work with. But I think the tips that you shared with anybody who's thinking about going, like hiring you, hiring the
Yeah.
business that you have, what are some of the tips that you would share on helping someone maintain a budget?
Absolutely. So we do like to tell all of our clients, and one thing our clients get, if you go to our website at gofastefficient.com and you put in for a free quote and submit a form, you'll get an organizer that'll help you save money. Almost, this organizer literally helps you plan your move ahead. That way, you can maximize the time um, that we're in the space. We don't want to be in your house as much as you don't want us to be in your house. So, um, things like disassemble furniture, packing, make sure the boxes and everything's packed, making sure that your TVs and everything are bubble wrapped. All these things will help you save time for us just to be able to lift and go, right? So if we just are able to lift your furniture, put it in the truck, drive to the next spot, we'll be able to get in and out.
Hmm.
Whether rather it take 4 hours, it can take 2.5 hours
Yeah.
with those tips.
And that is big. I don't know about anybody else, but I've worked with moving services and paid, 100 or more dollars an hour. And most companies require a 2 hour minimum. So if they have to spend more time wrapping things, breaking down things, it's going to cost you more money. So
It
it's going to
does.
be a higher out of pocket expense. So if you can do anything like Jordan said, you can bubble wrap some of the items you have, or you can, disassemble, things and get them ready. So it's lift and go, that is going to
Mhm.
help your pocket. It's going to help your time so you can move on to the next task that you have to do in your moving experience. So, same thing
Absolutely.
about cleaning. If you know you want someone to come and clean, maybe just clearing out the area that you want to have clean because there may be some personal things or things that, the cleaning service doesn't know how to put back. So, it's kind of just helping yourself. So, utilize the tips that he's telling you because this is what he does for a business, a living
Yeah,
as a business. So,
definitely
a
do.
lot of people aren't
Please do.
sharing those type of things. So, thank you so much for
And
sharing.
another tip, one more tip I want to share since we're on this topic. A lot of people do take the smaller items, whether that's like miscellaneous items like lamps, paintings. A lot of our Pittsburgh clients take those items themselves. And what tends to happen is, it'll save them a lot of time for us to just to lift up the heavy furniture, right? So if you're someone who's watching this and you are on a budget, consider doing that. Just hiring us for the heavy furniture, whether it's a dresser, couches, stuff like that. We'll be able to come in and lift the heavy furniture.
Absolutely. And I don't want to lift. I don't
Yeah,
have the stamina. I don't
I
have the
feel it.
strength.
Yeah,
I don't recover as well as I did 20 years ago. So
yeah.
yeah, I just definitely want to
No, I
maximize my
feel that.
money and get the things that I need taken out. And it makes sense if I can put it in my car, if I can do it, if I have a storage area, or if I know I can have the keys to a new apartment or home, why not
Yeah,
transport those things earlier? If you have the keys for days prior to you coming, your service coming, get as much as you can out, and then it'll just be very swift. And then after you're done moving,
absolutely.
hire them again to do the cleanup so that you don't have to, so that you can just go
Heck
somewhere
yeah.
and enjoy. So
And a
kind of
lot of people know my mom, Lisa. She helps me with that side. So, we already have a good operation. We cover some Airbnbs here in Pittsburgh, but we're also looking for clients in the Uniontown area. If you need your house cleaned, or if a facility and a building that needs cleaned, get us in touch. We'll be able to give you a referral fee as well. So,
Wonderful. See, another way
mhm.
to revenue coming in, and also,
Awesome.
being a positive mouthpiece for a business that you know that is good and that it works and that you use. So word of mouth is the best recommendation that you could possibly get. As we
Absolutely.
continue, and we're talking about Jordan and you being, I want to say a serial entrepreneur because you have so many businesses
Mhm.
that you do and a networker. I also want to ask the question is, how do you maintain like good relationship and good rapport with your customers and clients that you work with?
Yeah, it's a good question. So we're actually going to be implementing something soon. It's a newer. We did it in the past, a referral system to where a client that refers us to someone will get paid $25 to $50. But we didn't have it as organized as we should have. So coming soon, we will be hosting a Facebook page for all of those clients, past clients and new clients. If you do want to get paid $25 to $50 for just referring us to somebody, that will be coming soon. That payment will be sent directly to you, and we'll have that system clear and in detail for you to take advantage of.
And so is that like unlimited amounts of referrals?
That's unlimited, guys. We're until further notice. So uh, definitely take advantage. Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely. And then I know a lot of people sometimes want to know, how do you know when you have a solution to a problem?
Yeah. So as a business owner, if you're a business owner watching this, you already know that you have to be a solutionist. There's always going to be problems arising as a business owner. If you own a business or if you want to take up entrepreneurship, there's always going to be a problem. So you almost have to consider yourself and psych yourself out as a solutionist. You can't focus on the negatives or nothing's going to happen. So I like to. That's why I do feed myself so much with Myron Golden and like other positive mindset podcasts or videos, because that helps me, lead into a certain direction when I do have a negative thought. And the foundation, of course, is which is God. I always have a gospel playlist that
Right.
if anything ever happens, like where it's really stressful, I make sure I go back to that foundation.
And I that foundation never fails. That
Never.
foundation, and I'll keep it on the eye. It never fails for me.
Yeah.
The other question I want to ask is, what techniques do you use to increase awareness? I know that you're on the platform with me today, and thank you so much for this beautiful collaboration. But what else do you do? What else techniques do you use to increase
Yeah.
awareness?
So um, social media is a big one. I'm on social media a lot. I'm sure a lot of people see my videos, come across those. So that's the number one thing. I built the business off of organic traffic, um, just from posting videos to being on Facebook or Instagram to reaching out to people directly on those platforms and kind of building a network,
Mhm.
but a social media network, not in real person, in real life. Um, so that's the number one thing when it comes to awareness. And then it comes down to if you believe in your product, if you believe in your service and yourself, you should be wanting to tell everyone about that, right? So I'm I'm going to networking events. I'm going to Pittsburgh Business Exchange, which is the biggest networking event in Pittsburgh. Their last event last week, it's called the Great Gathering. There was 1,000 plus people there. So I'm going to these rooms and making sure I'm comfortable and getting uncomfortable sharing what I do, right?
Mhm.
So that awareness, after a while, you know, you'll start to get more you'll start to freely share what you do. At first, it's you're scared, you're sweating, you're not knowing what to say, you're
Mhm.
stuttering, and I put myself through that. Not a lot of people will, and I think that's what separates me from a lot of people is that I'm willing to put myself in those uncomfortable positions to share and build that awareness of what I
Yeah.
do.
And I think that anytime you want something, and you said this earlier, as long as you know your why, the how comes later, and
Yeah.
it's like much easier. But also too is, I love that you said like you put yourself in uncomfortable situations, but that's called growth.
Hmm.
If you really want to grow, you'll place yourself in uncomfortable situations, because like if you don't grow, like you ultimately die, So I think about like a plant or a farmer, like you have to repot it because it gets bigger. And if you have it in a small pot, the roots are going to strangle itself. So you kind of like
Absolutely.
need to expose yourself. So that's a positive. A lot of times discomfort is going to help us, grow and get more comfortable in who we are. And then, like you said, network, because you may come across somebody that if you weren't present, you would never know,
And
and
it's funny how God works in those ways, because that's how it works out. It's, I'll get an opportunity to where 3 hours before the event, even an hour before the event, I'm scared and I'm not wanting to go, almost not going to go,
Mhm.
And then I get that certain urge or a thought, a lot of people would say it's just their gut feeling. They were like, you should go. And
Yeah,
then that opportunity, when I do go, that opportunity will arise because I'm in the room, you
right,
know. I mean, that's what I started to see happen within those rooms. As you put yourself and people start to become familiar with your
right.
face, they'll start to open up more and share
Mhm.
more with you. So
I agree. Every before every episode of Chats with Chantla, I'm like, I'm not gonna do it. Like it all that's
yeah,
what happens, and you're like,
yeah, because you
I
get
gotta do
nervous a
it.
little bit.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
it's like a healthy sense of nerves that you have, and I think that
absolutely.
it's what keeps you humble. At least for me, it
Hmm.
keeps me humble, and it also keeps me like chasing after the passion that I have and the purpose of why I do this, and it's to bring, build, connect, and collaborate, to expose people to, what other people are doing, and to give people a platform. So it's to be able to speak of other journeys that ultimately will inspire people to do more. But I
Yeah,
know that we have talked about, our local area that we grew up in, which is Uniontown, Pennsylvania, Fayette County. But how, now that you transitioned to a larger area, how important is it for you to learn about the local area that you're in and that you're about to service?
yeah. So Pittsburgh, I'm gonna be honest. Growing up, I didn't come to Pittsburgh much. Um, Not until I was 18 to where I really started to come to Pittsburgh and moved here because of Carlo. So then I became familiar with the city, you know, and it is, I don't want to say it's a big city. It's bigger than Uniontown, but it's not a
Mhm,
big place. It's just a little bigger than Uniontown, right?
mhm,
I like to think of it as it's just another, everyone knows each other.
mhm,
And it's one of those cities. So within that network, I just place myself again within people who are seen or doing cool things, or doing
mhm.
or successful. I just started to put myself in a room with them, or reaching out to them on social media and telling them about my services. Hey, I got this, or if I'm post a video about the services, I'm sending the video to them via DM,
Right.
so that they can see it. Because they may not choose your service right away, but it's if they see your face and your service, after a while it'll be imprinted in their brain,
Mhm.
whether they like it or not.
Right.
They'll start to recognize you and then see, oh, he does moving because I posted 15 moving videos just last week. So that's how it really worked out and started.
Mhm.
And I just continued that. And now with Bridge City Connections, I've taken that a step further and just bringing everyone to one room.
Mhm. I love that. So if you're thinking about moving, you need cleaning, go fast and effective. I'm sorry, efficient.
Yes,
I want to say effective because it is effective. So go
yeah.
fast and efficient cleaning and moving services. The quickest thing to think about when I think now about them is lift and go. So
Hmm.
being so prepared and being ready that all they have to do is come, lift and go, and then you're on your way to be able to do
Literally.
the next task that you want to do. And Bridge City Connections, it's bridging people together to make these connections at these networking events that are going to really do like plugging you in with people that you may not normally connect with, or your paths might not cross until like a time later. So what Jordan
Exactly.
is doing so much in regards to collaboration, networking, and providing a service that we all need, because more than once people move, people need cleaning services. And so when you think of him, you think of all the different things that he's doing. And he just started going into real estate investing, which is something that is huge, and you can make a very great profit out of it. But it also gives you an opportunity to learn where you're living at and the needs of people that are looking for ownership. So not just residential, but also commercial. So Jordan, I think that is amazing. But doing all of these career paths, I know that there are times where you have to deal with challenging or difficult customers or clients. So how do you handle difficulties or challenges in businesses where the outcomes are still positive?
Yeah, so that's a great question. I've dealt with hundreds of clients within the moving area, not all of them great. So when it comes to dealing with those clients, a lot of people will say the customer is always right, but I don't think that way. Because a lot of people will take advantage of your services or take advantage of your business, and you almost have to protect yourself, right? So, you know, a lot of clients, for example, particular client, stole money from us, didn't pay us.
Hmm.
So you almost have to go about that. A lot of people, you can't go about it in a street way. You have to go about it
Right.
the legal way. You have to go down to the courthouse and file a complaint, and take it about it that way. And when it comes to the negative side of that, dealing with like, oh, they did me wrong, and you're mad and upset, that comes back down to the foundation,
Mhm.
going back to your gospel music, going back to those
Right.
videos to get switch your mindset. Because what something I like to do, and a good friend of mine told me, and he mentioned this. He doesn't know that I use this now, but he mentioned flipping the script. And if there's a negative thought in your mind, to literally 100% flip the script and do something completely opposite. So if you're having that negative thought, what I like to do, I'll just start running, or I'll just start,
Mm.
you know, doing push-ups, or I'll go to the gym to play basketball, or I'll just throw on the gospel album. I like to do that because there's always problems in business. There's
Mhm.
always a problem to fix.
Yeah. And I love how, even though, you're addressed with difficulties and challenges, like you said, in business every day, that's just life. Life is going to be
Mhm.
lifing, but how you handle them. And I think, like, what I got out of it is that you control what you can control and you
Mhm.
let go of what you can't. And
Exactly.
by doing that, it releases stress that you don't need, and then it doesn't add on to stress that you can't even control. So, if someone's going to do something to you, most times you don't know it's going to happen until after it happens. So how
Mhm.
you deal with it is how you control how you respond to it. And I love how you said when it becomes too much, like, you go back to your foundation. Everybody has to have a
Mhm.
foundation,
Yeah, and I do want to say, I do have a lot of experience dealing with clients and
Mhm.
customers. So that is a little easier for me to say, just to go back to your foundation. A lot of newer entrepreneurs or new business owners will deal with clients who want to, get over on them.
Right.
What I say with that is just to be patient. Um, don't explode and act out because of this situation. Make sure that you take a step back and analyze before you act. Because if not, you know, your business and your operation is at risk,
Mm.
right? So that's the biggest thing for me, for newer entrepreneurs and beginners, is to just think before you act.
I love that. And so Crystal said, yes, Devo, super proud of
Yeah,
you.
what's up, Crystal?
Thank you so much
What's
for
up?
watching. Yes,
For
because I
real.
and I think that we can all relate to that, because I think when you were saying all that, what it made me think of is, like, what do I want to be connected to, and how do I want people to see me, and how do I want people to hear about me before they ever meet me? And if they're
Exactly.
talking about an experience that I went through, and I allowed an emotion, which was a temporary feeling that I was having, to make a permanent, like, impact on me, you can't
Mhm.
take that back. Once it's out,
Exactly.
you can't take it back. Like, it's a lot of times people want to do stuff on social media and be like, "Oh, I deleted it. It's gone." It is not gone. Like, someone
It's
can
still
remove
there.
that. Yeah, and get that. So it's the same thing as
Yeah.
when you're acting out and not thinking about, like you said, thinking before they act. You're now
Mhm.
putting that out there, and you're giving a memory for someone to always be able to bring back up. And not that people don't do that anyways, but I'd rather people talk about me in a positive way than a negative way.
Mhm. Absolutely.
I love that, instruction that you gave on how you deal with it, and then also the advice you gave on somebody who's just entering new into the world of entrepreneurship, and how, as a young professional, how you dealt with it. But even though you're a young professional, you're kind of a
Mhm.
veteran in the areas that you're talking about. even though you're, under 30, you're still doing, these great things that people my age have yet to experience. So thanks again for just kind of giving us that guide through the journeys that you've experienced and giving us insight on it. Also, I do
Absolutely.
want to ask you the question, if you had one piece of advice to give to young entrepreneurs or young professionals, and I just want to take the word young out of there, just
Yeah.
entrepreneurs or professionals, what would it be?
Yeah. Just entrepreneurs in general would be to find a role model, right? Find an idol to where, oh, they're at this position, they're successful at what I want to be doing, and then mold what they do into your life. That's the first step. And then the next step, after you do that, which you can get done literally right now with all the technology, you know, you can find a role model and someone who is in a position that you want to be in with
Mhm.
literally a 30-second search. So no one should have an excuse to be able to find a role model or someone who's successful to model their life after, right? Mine's Myron Golden. I would recommend him. He's on YouTube. He has hundreds of videos. He'll change your life almost instantly by watching a 30-minute video.
Mhm.
The next step would be to come to our events, entrepreneur networking events. Bridge City Connections, we host the last Thursday of every month. It is up here in Pittsburgh at this great co-working space called Cohatch. We've had we had 4 events so far. Like I said, it started with 10 to 15. Now, last event was at 40.
Mhm.
So come to these events. We make you feel comfortable. It is for beginners and all entrepreneurs. So don't feel uncomfortable. We have icebreakers to make it, to help get your message and your journey out there. So those are the steps I would say to start now.
Absolutely. And anytime you're doing something new, and I think
Mhm.
the going to a Bridge City Connections networking event is a huge positive. It's going to give you that exposure that you need. It's going to connect you with like-hearted people and like-minded people, and then
Mhm.
network where you're going to be able to grow yourself personally and professionally. But the other thing is, like, if you're like, I don't know if I want to go, bring a friend.
Bring a friend.
Bring a friend that
Yes.
is kind of like, your
Heck
Linus
yeah.
man, me, Charlie Brown had that blanket. Like that, you
Yes.
have somebody that keeps you feeling safe and comfortable. And that's a perfect opportunity to bring for both of you to come to enjoy, be
Mhm.
exposed, connect. Why not do it? Like if
Heck yeah, we encourage that actually. Bring someone who's like-minded as you. Bring a coworker. Um, Anyone who has that same mindset as you, definitely bring them along. But if they don't, the people who don't have the same mindset as you, don't feel afraid to come by yourself, to
right.
show up by yourself, because we will help you walk you through, the path of becoming or starting to think of becoming an entrepreneur or a business owner or a young professional at that. Because we do have a lot of people who are young professionals in the corporate world, salespeople, marketers, that enjoy their jobs but
Mhm.
just want to do entrepreneurship on the side.
Right.
So if you're interested in that, definitely feel free to show up.
I encourage it. I encourage it.
Me
I
too.
encourage, for you guys to gain more information on the different career paths that Jordan takes. So Jordan, I know we're winding up this collaboration. I want you just to drop your social media handles or your websites on, please share your business handles with our audience so they can stay connected with you.
Yeah, so we'll start with fast and efficient services. I actually got my hat on right now. Um, Go to gofastefficient.com. It's on the screen. Like I said earlier, you're able to submit for a free form and we'll get you a free organizer to help you with your move or your clean. Um, and then if you want to go ahead and subscribe to our networking group, that way you stay updated with the emails and everything, go to www.bridgecityconnections. It's also on the screen. You'll be able to go there and see the members who we have now in the network. Just at the top of the screen, there's a members page, and there's also the events page that you can see some of the things that we happen for at the first 2 events. So,
And then what about, are you on any social media platforms?
yeah. So IG, Bridge City Connections, um, also Facebook, Bridge City Connections. Definitely follow those pages. We'll be and DM us if you have any questions or want to collaborate with on anything. Reach out. It's an open line. And then IG as well as Go Fast Efficient, and it's Fast and Efficient Services on Facebook.
Okay. Well, Jordan, it
Yeah.
has been such a pleasure, like just being able to learn from you, being able to like just grow from you, the conversation that we had. I hope that if you're watching, you gained insight. If you're just now joining in,
Okay.
make sure you hit that replay button. It will be on YouTube and Facebook. It'll be on my page, Chantla Israel, as well as I'll be sharing it so that Jordan can put it on his page and his business pages. But this was a conversation and a collaboration to show you that how you start isn't how you finish, and how you're
Absolutely.
going through the process of it. We all need encouragement, we all need support, and we all need networking. And Jordan is doing that super successfully. So stay connected with him. And you can do that by going to Bridge City Connection events, going, and then if you are moving and need cleaning services, go fast. And yeah, I'm going to say
Efficient.
efficient.
You was going.
Lord, why do I
It's
want to
all right.
say effective?
It's all right. We'll work
Efficient.
on it.
Yes, and they're so efficient, but it makes sense.
Yeah.
But I'm just like, they're effective all the time. Like what he's doing is effective, but it's lift and go. When you think about moving and cleaning, lift and go is what they do. So you want to do that and you want to connect, but more importantly, stay connected with who is going to connect you with somebody or with your purpose in a greater way. And that is exactly what Jordan is doing. So Jordan, I commend you. Kudos to you on what
I
you're
appreciate
doing.
that.
I
And
can't
I
wait to see what
appreciate you
you
too. I want to give a shout out to you because I do really, really appreciate this platform. Chats with Chantla is a platform that needs to be known more within the community. So, however, I can help to grow this platform, let's do that. Honestly, I know we were talking about the partnership and collaboration
do. Yeah.
within Bridge City Connections members. So, I would love to definitely let's continue this thing because we need more of this.
Oh my
You know?
gosh. And I'll stay connected. See, I'm already getting connected through Bridge City, and I haven't even went to one of the networking events yet, but I definitely will. And Jordan, I definitely will take that offer up, and I'll make sure that I stay connected with you so that we can continue this on through that way
Sounds
and
good.
that partnership and that collaboration. Thank you so much. I know there's going to
You're
be so
welcome.
much. Jordan Pratt, everyone, he is, you seen it here first. That's all I can say is you seen it here first. So when you see him on the next platform or the next TV show, you can say, I saw it on Chats with Chantla. So I'm
Yeah,
so happy for
absolutely.
this collaboration. But Jordan,
That's
so
good.
much success and kudos to everything that you're doing. Again, thank you so much for watching. Tune in
Appreciate
to
you
the next
guys. See you
episode.
later.
See ya.
Thanks for watching another episode of Chats with Chantla. See you next time.